We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Another year has passed, and like everyone, I think, I have some thoughts about it. I'm recording this video about 2 weeks after my birthday / Father's Day, and even though this summer has actually been pretty nice, all things considered, it's been difficult to celebrate. I actually have trouble celebrating this time of year every year. I have for a very long time, because as we get closer to my birthday every year, I start thinking more and more about all the things I haven't accomplished yet. And I look around at people who are my age or younger than me, who have done more, accomplished more, and in my eyes are more successful. And each year I just feel further and further behind, and this year isn't any different. But yet, when 34-year-old me looks back on 33-year-old me, we got a lot accomplished in 365 days. In a single year, I published a book, wrote, directed, and edited my first short film, and I bought a home. That is the big three for me: doing writing, doing film, and owning a home. So why is it, if I can accomplish all of those things in 1 year, why do I still feel so unaccomplished? Part of it is I think I'm just ungrateful. I have a hard time just stopping and appreciating the things around me, the things that I have done, my own successes, and just ever since I can remember, I've always just been all right, that's done, it's on to the next thing, and then on to the next thing, so on and so on and so on, forever. So this year, for one more spin around the sun, I'm gonna try and appreciate a bit more of what I have, a bit more of what I do, and just appreciate life in general. So entertain me for a moment, if you will, as I look back on my accomplishments for the year and the things that I'm proud of. My first real accomplishment, this from 33 to 34, is of course publishing Tanner's Place, my indie dark fantasy horror novella. Despite only being 116 pages, this one was not easy to write. In a lot of ways, it's a mishmash of a bunch of other failed and unfinished ideas that kind of just came together in this weird, inventive, gross little book. I've talked about it before and why you should read it. You can read that somewhere. And while the book hasn't made me a New York Times bestseller or a ton of money, I wanted to write a fast-paced fantasy that you would read in 1 or 2 sittings. And I wanted it to be broadly appealing to new fans of either genre, either fantasy people who had never tried horror before, or general readers who had never tried fantasy before. And I think based on the reviews, that was a success. Multiple reviews have complimented the pace, that they read it in 1 sitting, and that many of them weren't fantasy readers who really enjoyed the book. So from that perspective, it's hard to call Tanner's Place anything other than a success. If nothing else, it proved to me as an artist that I can conceptualize what I want something to be and execute it correctly to that effect. And I think that's something that maybe distinguishes me from a more amateur writer to a more skilled one. I don't want to say pro, because I'm not that. But I think it's cool that I can come up with an idea for something and execute on it, and people really enjoy that. So Tanner's Place, big win for me. Good job, me. My other big success is doing my first short film. When I was younger, what I wanted to do was go to film school, and for a lot of complicated reasons, I didn't do that. So doing film has always been on my bucket list. It's always something I've wanted to do, and I just wasn't convinced that I could do it, either because of the time commitment or I didn't get professional training on it. But in 2026, I decided that I was going to ignore all of that and I was going to make my movie. And that was Record Box. I filmed it in the span of about 2 hours and edited it in about 3 weeks. And while it's not great, it's not exactly the way I wanted it to turn out, it didn't have to be great. It didn't have to be good. For anything, this project for me was just proving that I could do it. That I could conceptualize a film, put in the effort of filming it, edit it together, and it makes sense and be somewhat effective. And for me, I think I accomplished that. And within it, I see glimmers of what I was going for. I think, I almost got it. I almost figured it out right there. And for me, that's a win because again, I set out to accomplish something and I did it, I made the movie. That's more than a lot of would-be filmmakers accomplish. And I can see the obvious flaws in the film and I'm excited to fix them. And that's the big takeaway too, is I know that it's something that I would enjoy pursuing more of. So I'm making more room in my life to do that. And then my last big accomplishment of the year is purchasing a home. This is a big one. If you know me personally, I have struggled with poverty in my adult life. I'm a single income with 3 kids. It has been an uphill battle, and I have spent years, literally years, paying off debt, fixing my credit, fixing cars, getting more debt, paying that debt off, fixing my credit again and again and again. And this year, it finally all came together much, much faster than I thought. And even amidst crazy house prices and the horrible interest rates, I was able to get a pretty decently sized house within my budget that basically fits all of my family's needs. It's hard to describe it as anything other than a miracle. And I think what I really need to sit with and think about and appreciate is how much work I put into it. And how I just had to lock in and focus on paying on debt and focus on doing the right thing. And even when it felt pointless or stupid, even when it felt like earlier this year that having a home was just impossible for me, I thought it just wasn't gonna happen. Here I am. And it's because I didn't give up. And it's because I persevered through all of that. And if I can make this happen, if I can go through everything that I went through in my 20s, everything my family has had to endure, not making a ton of money at first, what else can I do? That got way more emotional than I meant it to. The point is if you're trying to buy a house, keep on the grind, my man. Not hustle culture bullshit. Just keep your head down and it will happen if you keep working for it. All right, before I actually start crying, I'm gonna move on to what I'm doing for the rest of the year. What am I gonna do from 34 to 35? What's 35-year-old me gonna see? Well, I think the big theme of this year is I'm just gonna stop focusing on outcomes so much. I think I'm just so result-oriented that once I get the result, that's it. That's all the emotion there is. And while I get a high for a second, I don't ever get that high again until I have another result. So I think for me, it's just focusing on appreciating processes and not results. I'm working on my next book, and it's a sword and sorcery adventure, not the type of book I ever expected to write. And while I want to get it done, I want to start releasing that and the series this year, I'm really just focusing more on enjoying writing the book. It has dinosaurs and crazy magic, and I'm having a blast writing it, and I just want to focus on that more than anything. And I have other film projects in line for the year, but I'm not focused on how many of them I get done. I'm focusing on how much I enjoy the process. I'm focusing on learning with each one. I'm filming one this weekend that's exclusively about me practicing dialogue. And again, it doesn't matter if it's good. I just need to learn how to film dialogue scenes. And I have loads of projects to work on with this house. I mean, loads of them. But I'm not worried about how much it's gonna cost. I'm not stressed about making my house look pristine in the first year of me owning it. I'm just gonna enjoy having my home and gradually making it my own and gradually making it the space me and my wife and kids need it to be. Because I want 35-year-old me to look back and not think about what I got done. I want me to think about, I did this and I did that, and look at my stack of accomplishments. I want to look back and think about how much I enjoyed doing those things. how present I was, how fulfilled and joyful I was in doing them, not in what got done out of them. Even here on YouTube, I'm not making content for the algorithm. I'm barely making it for you who's watching this. I'm making it for me. I'm gonna do a lot of like studio updates as I convert this basement area I'm in into my little studio. So stay tuned for those. I'm also gonna do writing updates and I don't know, whatever else I feel like doing. Because again, I wanna enjoy doing YouTube. I don't wanna make YouTube a second job. For me, it'd be like a fourth job. But well, that's it for this one. I will see you guys next time. And that time, I won't cry.